Hello and welcome to our heat session, Reflex Roasting. We are here in the meeting room of our museum at PROBAT in Emmerich. My name is Carsten Winter. I'm a sales manager since 10 years with PROBAT, and I'm sitting here together with Peter, our process engineer for the roasting processes. Hello, Peter.
Hello, Carsten. Nice to be here. Thanks.
Nice to have you here. And before we start, I want to show you at first that the roaster is equipped with a modulating burner. This is equipped to the oven, and this oven is in the roaster's structure in the body. Within this body we will see the drum that's turning around. We have the feeding hopper. We have here the PR110, and later on we will hear a little bit more about. And of course, like every roaster, we have a cooling tray. And especially the parts we want to talk today is the roaster's burner and the PR110. And for this, Peter will explain us a little bit more on the software side. Peter.
Yes, thanks, Carsten. Okay, let's talk about reflex roasting today. Yeah, here we have a simulation of the PX120. It's a drum roaster. It's a little bit smaller than the model. But what we also have here, I can show you, is the burner, the roaster itself, the cyclone and the exhaust gas treatment. You have here the supply air temperature, what controls the burner. And you have here the PR110, what bypasses the supply air flow. Okay, so let's go into the curve. So what we see here, it's a nominal product temperature curve of an just an espresso recipe, and you see the dotted line. Now we have, if we switch to the overview, the heating up was done, and now the product was filled in, and we are starting with roasting. So you can see the reflex roasting is off, it's not activated. What you can see here, it's the actual product temperature line or curve that does not hit the nominal values or the nominal curve of the recipe, what it should be normally. You can see here the actual curve is, it's red, or below it's yellow, and normally it's blue. These are the deviations of the curve to the actual value to the nominal value of the product temperature. That means you have a range of the along the product temperature curve, and if the actual value is outside this range, it's red. That means for you as an operator, oh, take care, something is going on, and have an eye on. And if you are inside the range, but not exactly on the nominal value on the curve, then it's yellow, like it is here on the screen.
This means we have here this gray area.
Yes.
And this means the range. This means this is deviation. We are able to set it up in the recipe, I guess.
Yes.
And as soon as we are within this range, we have a yellow color. This is a kind of warning, in my understanding.
Yes, that's right.
And if we are outside this one, we have here the red marked line. And our target is a dotted line, so that we want to hit the temperature. Is this correct?
This is correct. It's kind of quality management system of the pilot roaster system. And yes, you can set a range where it's for you it's acceptable, the deviation, and and if you are outside this area, you get a red marked actual temperature.
A kind of alarm.
Kind of Yeah.
Is it customizable?
Yes, it is customizable. You can set, in this case, it is ±2 degrees, the range, but you can also put 5 degrees or 1 degree if you want to. Depends on. So what you can see here, the flap 110, the PR 110 is the blue line here. Yes. The nominal product temperature curve is this dotted line, what you mentioned before. The actual coffee temperature is this billet line, and the supply air temperature is this green line. You can see the PR 110 is just opening here. It's 100% open at this point. That is the filling of the green coffee into the drum. And then it's closing. It's closing the whole time for the whole roasting time. And you see here, it's the supply air temperature. It's 380 degrees or something like this. This line. That is constant, the same temperature, and here you have reduction phases, reduction points, but the temperature stays the same the whole time. So with the reflex roasting, we have different packages. With a reflex roasting, you are adapting the supply temperature of the roaster. That means it would be this green line. That means if you go into the roaster with 380 or 400 degrees, then the system regulates, depends on what's the deviations, increases the supply temperature or decrease or increase the supply temperature. And the same doing with the PR 110. If we have too much energy in the roasting system, then the PR 110 opens and bypasses the energy by the roaster. So I will activate the reflex roasting, and on the next batch we will see what happened. We have a delay start reflex roasting, what you can see here. That means for the filling process and for the temperature drop according to the filling process, we are not using the reflex roasting because you have no stable procedure. And after that, you can see at this point, it's 60 seconds. After 60 seconds, the reflex roasting operates.
It's active, yes, I see. I think it's a good idea to keep the simulation running till we have the next batch recorded, and in the meanwhile we can show a little bit what kind of packages we have.
Yeah, sure.
This would be a great idea, and we have two packages here. At first we have our reflex package. This means we have used the modulating burner, and this one controls the actual temperature of the product.
Yes,
and then we have then we have the REFLEX Comfort, and with the REFLEX Comfort we have the possibility to use the PR 110, what Peter explained us already. So just with these two items, we are able to run the reflex function. Additional, we have a REFLEX Developer kit. This means you will be able to create your own recipe according to 20 points, and this Peter will show us later. In the meanwhile, we can take a look what what the actual recipe shows us, and we see we are in the beginning.
Yes.
And we started here with the REFLEX roasting on, and we see we are far away from our process value of the dotted line. And what Peter says, here is the interesting point of 60 seconds, then this function gets active, correct?
That's right. After 60 seconds, in this case, that is customized also, the reflex roasting starts. What you can also, or what you also have here is a factor for the supply temperature. That means, as we mentioned before, we try to get the nominal value by modification of the supply air, and also the PR110. That means if you have too much energy in the roasting system, you bypass it. And here you can see it starts after 60 seconds from here. That is the flap PR110. And it opens because we are above this nominal product temperature line, and we want to get rid of energy to lower down the product temperature curve.
We want to bypass the not needed energy to the exhaust, correct,
Yes,
Peter?
exactly. And also the supply temperature, without reflex roasting, the line is steadily going on, and here you have a drop down of the temperature to supply with lower energy.
So this means we see after the 60 seconds the system gets active and alive. So both
Yes.
of these lines, we see here the actual set point and process value of the PR110, and we see the actual value of the inlet temperature, correct?
That's right. And what you also have, what I started before, is you have here factors, what you can change. That is the intense of the supply air, changes of the supply air temperature, and the intense of the changing of the PR110. As you can see, I increased the factor in the simulation, and yeah,
Yes,
the impulse or the intense is extremer.
this one here, we see
This one, yeah.
we see that the flap getting way more active in a factor of 5 instead of factor of 1. And same we will see here. We have here more or less a flat line, and here we get a little bit more alive inside, correct?
Yes, with these factors you can fasten up the changings of the actual product temperature.
So this means it makes the system more faster and more accurate?
Yes, that's right. Yes, as you can see, and now we are...
we see already that with the function we hitting the nominal value, our process value, what
Yes.
our set value, what we want to have, and the process value is more or less completely on the dotted line.
Yes, what you also see is that the PR110 is now nearly close, because we are exactly more or less on the line, and also the temperature curve, the steps what you see now for the supply temperature is these are the nominal reduction points of the recipe.
So from the curve before, the profile, and the profile now, we see there a really big difference. This brings me to one topic. Is it available for all roasters?
Yes. The reflex, we have, as you mentioned, we have 2 packages. The reflex roasting is possible for every roasting system, and also older roasting systems without any required equipment.
Sorry, Peter. This
Yeah.
means if I have an existing roaster in my
Yeah.
fab, I can call PROBAT, and they're able to do just a software update, and I'm able to get this function. Correct?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Great.
Of course, you also always have to have an individual spot on the roasting system, but yeah, that's in general it's right. And you have also the REFLEX Comfort. That is where you need the bypass, the PR110, to be able to bypass the supply flow. And you have also an part of the package is a little bit better performance of the burner. But also that needs an individual spot on the roasting system, but in general it's also possible for every
So in
roasting
general,
system.
we can say as
Yeah.
soon as we have a modulating burner here installed at our roaster, it may be we have to install an PR1110, and then we are able to retrofit this function more or less, to say in general, to all the roasters.
Yes, that's right.
After an individual checkup of the roaster, of course.
That's right. And what we also talked about was the add-on. It's a REFLEX Developer. And let me just show you the functionality of the...
This would be great if you show us how to create our own profiles, and the roaster will try to reach all the dotted points we have in the dotted line within the physical parameters. Then show us how to do.
Yes. Actually, I'm going to the current recipe, and I can edit the curve. That means when I start to edit, I put 20 drag points on the curve.
Is it the maxima, 20 points?
20 points is the maximum, but you can also put, for example, 5 points, and it's in equal distances.
But 5 points looks a little bit too less. Maybe we should try 10 to 15 to show everybody what is needed.
Okay. So, and here you have the drag points, and you click on the drag points, and now you can put it down or high, and also
maybe we
move
can
it on the curve. Yes.
Maybe we can see one dot very high and the other dot very low, that we can see what kind of changes are possible within the physical parameter.
Yes. So that is that. I would say that's wouldn't be.
This looks very good to show what is able to do or not.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
So now we can redraw the curves. That means it will. Okay. So if I'm fine with this curve, I can say okay. Save it. So I'm going to save it and send recipe.
So this means we have sent this recipe now to the feeding hopper, of the roaster, and this means with the next recipe start we have our recipe, correct?
That is right. We can see here this one. In the feeding hopper, this will have the new curve.
So
yes.
Now we have the time to see that again we have the 60 seconds. We have here the start of our function, and this one is just a repetition of the last recipe run.
Yes, but what you can see is now we have raised the factors, and from the beginning the last batch was not from the beginning, and you can see here it's a higher yeah, or a more intense effect on the PR110, that is opening 100%, and the supplier temperature is decreasing or is dropping a lot more. And what you can see here is that we can reach or hit the target line very fast, I would say.
This is way more earlier in the in the recipe than the run before. You're completely right. And we see now here's a big difference between the factors 1 and 1 and 3 and 5. So we see here very good that this is a more active system in correction of the product temperature. And we are very, very fast at the dotted line and have a deviation of roughly 0.
Yes, and that is something you can individually customize on the roasting system, so that maybe, well, it probably depends a little bit on the roasting system, yeah, the factors, what you need.
Is everybody able to change these kinds of parameter, or is it just a few people in my fab they are able to change these parameter? I think this is just for the roasting master or for the administrator, because I think an usual operator is not allowed to change these parameters. Huh?
Yes, you have a level management about that. Yeah, now at the moment we are locked in with administrator. Yeah, right. So that's right. The normal operation that is not possible to change it, but with a higher level you can do it. Yes.
So in the meanwhile we have to wait maybe 1 minute longer, 100 seconds till this run is finished, and then it will automatically load our created recipe like before. I just want to take the chance to show everybody that here we have our set value, there what we want to have, and the process value. You will find all these kind of lines over here in the diagram. This means here we have the numbered value, and this helps you to figure out what kind of line we have here, and you see also the exact process value for the moment.
Right.
So maybe we can see a kind of the machine screen. And also here we see the actual temperatures at the thermocouples, and as well we see the settings for the power of the burner, and we see that we have here our PR110, and it's already completely closed, and then 0%, and this we can see then also in the operator's screen we saw before.
Yeah, it's working the whole time, the PR110 and also the supply temperature to be always online and change the product temperature.
Could we change back to the operation screen and see that the recipe starts, the new one? Should be soon.
Yes, now it's pre-cooling. In a few seconds the new batch starts.
Yes.
Now we have. So
could we change to the curve screen we saw before, because then it's a little bit more precise, I guess, to show everybody.
Yes, now we are at the discharge phase.
So
okay, here you see the
very creative profile we want to run. Yes, this is right. So then we will see that the limits of our roaster, and especially here, the drop down till the 60 seconds, I guess here will happen nothing, because we have the delay start of the reflex roasting. And after this one we will see here a strong heat up, and here we should see that the PR110 opens completely, that we drop down the temperature, correct?
Yes, that is right. So, and I'm not really sure if the physical performance of the roasting system will get it, but yeah.
But for this, we try to show all and everybody what is possible with our system, and of course, we have to respect the physical conditions of the roasters and the limits what we can reach. We do not have an active cooling, so it's not possible to cool down. The only possibility we have is to bypass the energy, the heat out of the system.
That's right, yeah. And due to the heavy metal housing and all these things, that's not so fast, so it takes some reaction times.
Of course, there's a lot of steel, a lot of material around this one. This means we have here all isolation and steel works and so on, and this keeps the heat and the energy inside, and this cannot react so fast like we want to have.
That's right. And here you can see also that we have an different to the way before. We increase the temperature because we are below the nominal curve.
Yeah.
And then it goes the other way around.
Yeah, we see this system is completely active and completely working. And of course, nobody is expecting that this curve is, that the roaster is able to follow this curve. We just wanted to show that our system is working within the right physical parameters, and even we create a recipe like this for testing for fun or whatever. Our roaster takes care for to roast within the parameters, and in the end we will see here the usual profile, what we want to get, and as we said and said before, this one is not possible to reach because of the roasting equipment.
Yes, but in general, the developer is, with the developer, it's possible to have small changes on the recipe without using green coffee or test roastings.
So this means, in our understanding, we showed now that the changes we do are very, very far from the realistic value. But if I change it 1-2 degrees up and down, then I'm able to find the right aroma, the right profile for my coffee, and get a better recipe for higher quality. Correct?
That's right. And the system will get or will hit the target then. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
And I think we saw now most of the functions. Do we have anything to add? Do we have, we showed all our possibilities, our packages, our options. We showed the physical range of our roaster and of our system. Do we have anything else to say to this kind of product for the moment?
So, from my side, I'm fine with it. We have the two packages, REFLEX Comfort, and as an add-on, the Developer, REFLEX Developer. And so it's usable, everyone.
So, for the end, I want to show again this picture of our slides, that we have the REFLEX Comfort, and the package of the developer. We have a small description below, and of course, if anything happens, any additional things comes up, we will inform you. But for today, I want to thank you all, and we will see us with the next heat session. And it was a pleasure to show you our function. I have to thank Peter and all the other staff here around, and have a good day. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.